Okay. I am live. I will allow people to trickle in while I sip my decaf coffee. As you can see, it's just me today. Happy birthday, Kabaza, wherever you are in the world. He let me know earlier this week that he won't be joining. And, well, he said he might join, so we never know. But hey-ho, that's how it goes. So I'm going to hold down the fort. I'm going to need you guys to interact with me to make this somewhat of an enjoyable experience for everyone. But other than that, we've got like plenty to get through today. And it'll be interesting to get yours guys' opinions on me doing this on my own. I'll let you all trickle in. Say hello when you're when you've connected. And this is the second week that this show has been, I would say, 95% produced by OpenClaw. And to give you a bit of insight, I've basically set up a cron job that 3 times a day goes to a set of resources like Hacker News and things like that, and presents to me via text, obviously, because that's how you mostly interact with it. 3 options that it's found that it thinks we might want to cover for today's show. And then I respond and say 1, 2 and 1, 2 and 3, whatever. And it then adds them to a Notion board that I have set up in the background, and I get it to, align, like format it in a way that Kabaza and I like as we go through the notes. We have like a header, we have like an intro, so we get to write a little intro, talking points, and then like a link. And yeah, I'm just saying yes and no. Sometimes I'll find something where it's like I will find the link and send it and say, add this to today's show. But mostly, that's why I said 95%, but mostly it's been produced by OpenClaw. So let me know what you're doing with your OpenClaws, because I think everyone wants some of these ideas. Like there's plenty of people saying they're making like 10K a month, 100K a month, million K a month SaaS startups with their OpenClaw. But for me personally, I use it for admin. And I'm trying to, rather than, because I think AI is too tempting to kind of add more to your plate. Oh, I coded this in like half an hour when normally it would have taken me 2 weeks. What can I do now? It's very easy to keep adding and adding and adding. Whereas I'm trying to like solidify what's working right now, like what is hindering me right now, and add processes there, and then we'll look to add more on top of it. I was very, very what was I going to do? I was very tempted to add like a new service to offer, because I have a company, like a new service to offer. And I was like, no. Let's keep a lid on things. Let's not go too crazy. Let's battle down the hatches right now and make what's working work well now, and then add things. So let me know what you're doing with your OpenClaws. Let me know how you're using AI as well, because I think we're all, as I say, we're all looking for like new and interesting ways to use it. But I think today, we mentioned it last week. I think today we spoke about, last week we spoke about background agents or remote agent orchestration. And we've got like tons to talk about today about remote orchestration. That probably will send me on on a rant on background agents, because I think we'll talk about the prospects, the opportunities, how to get started with them. We'll discuss that in today's show. But yeah, still plenty more to get through. So yeah, I'm pretty interested to see how it goes. Let us know where you're at in the world. Let us know. Give us a like wherever you are, because it's not working on Twitter. Well, apparently I have 9 people on Twitter, even though I get warnings about Twitter. So thank you guys for tuning in on Twitter. We do have a YouTube. Most of the stuff that you're watching right now goes on our YouTube, which you can, well, we've got a domain name now. It's CmdAIshow.com, CmdAI, CmdAIshow.com, which that link, where is it? There should take you through to the YouTube, and then we'll add a website when we get around to it. I just needed to buy a domain name for a sponsor that I had coming in. Should have brought a water up. I'm going to get a water. Stay here. Stay here. And Kabaza will appreciate this. Or you Europeans, if you're from Europe, you'll appreciate this. For some reason, these bottles don't, in Europe, our bottles are connected to the sort of second, layer there. For some reason, these bottles I bought don't have it. And oh my God, like there's something about, like, it's so nice to just be able to open a friggin' bottle without it kind of like attached and all this crap. That is just, it's a dream, and we need to go back to that. Now I just open it and immediately just rip it off because it's a nightmare. Oops. Let us know how your days are as well. We'll kick it off in a bit. I'll let people trickle in over the next 5 minutes, and but in the meantime, let us know where you're at. And if you're on YouTube, give it a like. Let us know what you're building. I think we spoke about it last week, but last week I was using Codex and I was running like 3 agents all in one, and like had like a master agent. But today, actually, we won't go over it. I have my own channel, which again, one of those sides on YouTube. I played around briefly with agent teams, or as Codex call them, agent swarms. And they're so friggin' good. They chew through your credits like anything. So if you're using the Codex app, they give you double credits until like next week. Like, play around with agent swarms on Codex and to build your next feature, even if it's like small, just for now, because it's a bit overkill for small features, but just see how it works. Get an agent swarm going on, and then get better at kind of like we'll talk about, well, no, we won't, but yeah, check out the agent swarm feature as well. Cool. But I'll be releasing a video about that on my own channel today. I released a video about the new memory feature as well. Try to get an early one out from that on my own channel. Check everything's going. I'm going to upload a thumbnail to this video, to this stream, so it looks a bit better. And you'll notice, maybe not so great for you guys, but it means you get this content for free, is we are monetized now. And I want to do a video because, man, like we've been going less than a year, and we got monetized in less than a year. And I think less than 8 months, 8-9 months it took us to get monetized. Means we get a little bit of a kickback for doing these streams, because we're pumping out content every single week. Like once we do these shows, if you'll follow us on YouTube, we then release the clips. So if people want to discover us or just tune into certain things, they missed out on the stream for whatever reason, then they can watch the clips. All of that just, it takes so much work. And so it's great to have just a little bit of a kickback. I turned the monetization off for the stream because I really appreciate you guys being here. But we'll have monetization turned on for all the clips as well. So if you're watching now, enjoy the ad-free experience. But yeah, that was a milestone. We'll probably make a video on how we kind of did it, which will be no surprise to anyone. There's no magic formula to any of this. Nothing comes easy. But yeah, let us know where you're at. I think we're good to go in just a second. The last few trickle in. And then, yeah, one last thing before we kick it off as well. I've traditionally kind of disregarded Claude as a general chat bot. I always throw people at ChatGPT's direction, just because that's kind of, they've made their bed in this general purpose AI thing, even though Gemini have sort of, made a lot of headway there. But I've been using Claude for a lot of, granted, still more business-like questions. Like I don't tend to talk to it about, like I don't ask it questions. I use Perplexity for like general questions and whatever. Saying that, I probably should use Claude a little bit more, but I've been using it for more kind of like planning and business focused tasks and questions and things like that. I've really enjoyed the experience. I think I disregarded the personality aspect of Claude, which is why I wasn't fussed on having it on my OpenClaw. However, I will say I've been enjoying it. I've been enjoying like just briefly using Claude so much, excuse the black and white screen, but so much that it's now in my dock on my iPhone. Right, we'll kick it off. Here. Thanks everyone for joining. I think today's going to be a good one. Shame Kabaza can't be here, but it is his birthday. Say happy birthday, Kabaza, wherever you may be. But yeah, let's get it going on. So this week, Andrej Karpathy tweeted something. Anthropic got caught with their pants down trying to mug off China. Figma are going to be introducing fees. We'll get into that. And background agents, loads of them. And also Claude Code got hacked. I don't think anyone's talked about that. So we're going to go through all that in today's episode. This is Cmd AI. I am Sam, and this is a week in AI design and dev. So let's jump into Karpathy saying stuff. Now I've lost it here now, so I'll get it back up. Because everyone loves it when Karpathy says stuff, doesn't it? So people love it when Andrej Karpathy says stuff. Last week he tweeted about buying a Mac Mini to tinker with claws, calling them a new layer on top of LLMs. So here's what he said. Bought a new Mac Mini to properly tinker with claws over the weekend. The Apple Store person told me they're selling like hotcakes and everyone is confused, which I have been thinking about that quite a lot recently, just because like stuff might just happen in an industry that you have no idea about, and it's just what's caused this? Because like I bet half of them don't even know about what OpenClaw is or anything like that. I'm definitely a bit sus to run OpenClaw specifically, giving private data keys to 400k lines of vibe-coded monster that's actively being attacked at scale is not very appealing at all. It's so true. It's still an open source piece of kit, and you are giving it, a lot, and you are trusting in it. Like, there's a lot of hate that's going on online about, OpenClaw going to get hacked and this and that, but we sort of know this, and I think certain API keys you give it, obviously being picky with what API keys you give it, locking down kind of like billing, if it's a AI API key, having like a billing notification or something. But it's interesting to know that he is playing with it. He's playing with these things. So if there's anyone who should be leading the charge when it comes to doing all this sort of stuff, Andrej Karpathy, which, by the way, if you didn't know, kind of started OpenAI and was like a chief CTO of like Tesla and stuff. He's playing with sorry guys, I'm doing this on my own here. So this is the tweet we just went through. Bought a new Mac, may need to probably tinker around with claws over the weekend. The Apple Store told me they are selling like hotcakes and everyone is confused. So yeah, as I was saying, like there is a risk, but if Andrej Karpathy's doing it, then he's also mentioned here like Nanobot, Zero Claw, Iron Claw, Pico Claw, all of these smaller versions. But there was a nice comment left on one of my videos where someone said there's barely any difference. I don't know what the benefit is to actually just having a smaller like version. Maybe I don't know, but either way. And he finishes here, not 100% sure what my setup ends up looking like yet, but claws, again, that term, are an awesome and exciting new layer of the AI stack. So he's basically saying claws are these things that wrap the LLM and kind of take action on it. What did he say? He says something like, claws are now the new layer on top of LLMs, taking on the orchestration, the scheduling, the context, the tool calls, and kind of persistence to a next level. So that's what Andrej Karpathy said. Top viewers, streamboo.com. Don't know what that is. Sounds like an ad. Sorry, we're streaming over on Twitch as well. And someone's trying to leverage our viewership over on Twitch. So, Anthropic discovered DeepSeek, Moonshot, and Minimax used 24,000 fake accounts to extract 16 million Claude conversations for model distillation. Let's take a look at that. So here's the tweet. Wow, we're loving tweets today, aren't we? We've identified industrial scale distillation attacks on our models by DeepSeek, Moonshot AI, and Minimax. These labs created over 24,000 fraudulent accounts, generated 60 million exchanges with Claude, extracting its capabilities to train and improve their own models. This is exactly what distillation does. And Anthropic go on to say, distillation can be legitimate. AI labs use it to create smaller and cheaper models for their customers. But foreign labs that illicitly distill American models can remove safeguards, feeding model capabilities in their own military intelligence and surveillance systems. We'll get into that. These attacks are growing in intensity and sophistication. Addressing them will require rapid coordination and action amongst industry players. The internet did not respond so well to this. There's a lot of, the community notes basically outlining that Anthropic are settled a $1.5 billion lawsuit for pirating 7 million books from shadow libraries to train Claude, faces $3 billion lawsuit for torrenting 20,000 songs. They built their models on stolen creative work, then complain when others extract their outputs. And you can go on it, you're trying to kidnap something that's rightfully stolen. The internet let loose, really, on this idea. Now, never ask a woman age, a man's salary, an AI company where they got their training data. So good. Oh, Kabaza's decided to join us. Happy birthday, Kabaza. If you're everyone say happy birthday, Kabaza. Give us a like, Kabaza, if you're watching on YouTube. I see you there. So yeah, people did not respond well to this. I will say, like, it's not quite the same. Like, they're not, it's not like I'm an educator. Kabaza is an educator. Like, you in your everyday life are an educator, right? You learn something, right? And you interpret that information and you forward it on to someone else. Like, you didn't discover the entirety of the cosmos. You don't know what's happening on a kind of, I'm going down the science route right now, but you don't know what this, you weren't the one that did these experiments. You learn and you forward that information, you interpret. I make videos, so I release it in a way that makes sense for people, that makes sense for me to learn this information via viewing. So there's a transformation layer on top of this. So it's not quite the same as, it's not talking about stealing in that sense, but it's still fucking hilarious that the internet responded this way. What was the other thing I was going to mention? Oh, so if we take a look at the original article here, they kind of go through why distillation matters, and it does matter. It's a way of, like, getting smaller, cheaper, lighter models through masses of training data, only keeping what's essential. And if we go through some of the actual attacks here, so DeepSeek, they discovered over 150,000 exchanges. Now, I watched Theo's video here, and he rightfully has a voice in this. For once, he literally has a voice in this, and he owns T3 Chat, as you might know, and he shared some of his stats, some of the things that some of the figures that people are that's happening, right? And he said that 150,000 exchanges is like a daily thing on his platform. And in fact, to be more specific, I think it's more that the definition of exchanges that he speaks about. I'm not quite sure where to find that, to be honest. But the point is, an exchange is actually, the actual number is kind of is his numbers, sorry, that he showed you, that what was more than 150 were a lie, because actually tool calls are also exchanged with. So if you get all of that data, it's so much more than 150,000. And as you can already see there, reasoning capabilities across a diverse tasks, rubric-based grading tasks that made Claude functions as a reward model, creating censorship safe alternative to policy-sensitive queries. Moonshot, over 3.4 million. This is starting to get a little bit more suspicious. Operation targeted agentic reasoning and tool use, coding, data analysis, computer use, computer vision. And Moonshot Kimi models employed hundreds of fraudulent accounts spanning multiple pathways of varied account types. Now, I saw a comment here saying, what does this say about your privacy that you'd speak about? That is there such thing as privacy if you're able to track? Because I think they mentioned the metadata here. We attributed the campaign through request metadata. Where's the line there of like privacy versus like what is just, is it general location? What is this? Is it the email that was used? Not too sure, but yeah, someone questioned the legitimacy of privacy when it comes to this. And then Minimax scaling over 13 million exchanges, operation targeted, agentic coding, and tool use and orchestration. And I have to say, the Minimax one is slightly more believable. I had my suspicions. I made a video on my own channel. I had my suspicions about the similarities in performance between Minimax and Haiku. And also that it's been tuned to Claude Code. It seems like it's heavily directed towards Claude Code, and then when the operation targeted features are tool use and orchestration and agentic coding, you have to wonder. But I don't know. I'm just a guy with a camera, right? I have no idea. But this one's slightly more believable. That all being said, again, Theo shared his numbers with us on his channel. If you can get a model from these sorts of numbers, if Minimax can get a model with 30 million exchanges, then we're doing something catastrophically wrong with training, because this really is not all that much. I think, again, Theo shared numbers that came similar to this. I think, you know, that was the lie was 150,000. It was more in the realm of 3 to 4 million exchanges, something like that. But if you can distill a model with this level, you know, these numbers are more akin to something that is benchmarking, which anyone's kind of allowed to do. You benchmark against other models to make sure that that your model is good, right? I just watched a video earlier on about PewDiePie, who's trained his own model, and he's benchmarking them against ChatGPT and Gemini and these things. So these are the sorts of numbers we're talking at there. So yeah, why Anthropic are doing this, I don't know. I don't doubt, to be honest, that this happened personally. Like, just because the numbers don't line up doesn't mean to say that they aren't training on their, using their model to train. But it could just be one of many as a start. And realistically, and this is an interesting way to go about it, and they haven't really mentioned it in this article too much. Let's do military. Okay, here we go. Foreign labs that distill American models that can feed these unprotected capabilities into military intelligence. And this is true, but I feel like this is more of a fear tactic to try and get people to be like, oh, this is actually a bad thing. Because ultimately, going back to the tweets, people being upset that, that Anthropic are stealing, people just don't care. Why should we care? And it all comes down to this military training and this and that. Saying all that, what they're going to do about it, detection, they built some things. And actually, just on that note as well, they noticed, because Minimax got released just shortly after Opus 4.6, and they noticed once Opus got released, they noticed a complete shift in the attacks happening, from that same sort of data sources and stuff like that. So again, I think it is happening, but can those sorts of numbers create a new model? I don't know. Kabaza, if you're still there, by the way, it would have been interesting to talk to you about some of the comments we've got on the Figma MCP, because we're going to go over that in just a sec. Intelligence sharing. So obviously they're going to be sharing this with OpenAI and all the rest of it, and cloud providers as well, Vertex, whatever Amazon's one is, access controls. So they have their right to do this. They don't want their model getting used. No, he's well, you can see his chat there. I don't know where you are, Leo, but it's his birthday. So wish him a happy birthday and like the video. Give it a like. But yeah, no company can solve this alone. So, the jury is out when it comes to what this means. How terrible is it? Do we even care? Are they lying? But it is something that Anthropic have been crying about, and we're here for it. So that's that. Let's do the comments. So the comment section is where we take a look at what you guys have had to say on some of our videos and discuss them. And this week is Figma MCP. If you didn't know, Figma released an update, and that's very, very crucial. Figma released an update to their MCP, which allowed you to take the code so a coded website, and dump it in a Figma file. And we get comments like, let's make this bigger for you guys. It feels like there's an elephant in the room where everyone is fighting for their job already. Your vid is a way of saying, don't fire devs, fire designers. We can do design now as well as prompt coding. And I responded to this one. No, I don't think that's the way to look at it. Devs are not interested, like this update, devs are not interested in this workflow of taking code into Figma. In fact, there's been a bunch of people who are like, why do we care? Like, why, like, we don't need this. We don't, we're not going to use this and stuff like that. We'll get into it. But I think the bigger thing is actually, I think this is empowering designers, because what was once, I can't speak for Banana Man 17 here, but guys, there must be projects you've encountered where someone has developed the website first. They've used Shad CN, they've built a prototype, they've got something working. It's a way of getting that prototype and putting it in to the design to Figma, and then coding it up. Designing it up, and then bringing it back in there, right? And like, this is something that's going to happen more and more, especially because, I'm sorry, guys, designers, it's more beneficial that a company has a working prototype that actually works and does it and shows you're going to do it from a business perspective, like, so they know what the thing's going to do, and also, can you build it? That's one of the biggest pauses a company will have, is they worry that you're not going to be able to do it. Funnily enough, I lost a project recently because they didn't think we could design it because we didn't provide them relevant design experience. So it kind of works both ways. But so saying that, it's a workflow that's changing, and products that focus on usable prototypes are now just easier to get up using AI and stuff like that. So I don't think it's saying fire designers at all. And with the two-way thing, in fact, let me just scroll down to one of the other comments. Someone says no designer will use this because they have to rebuild everything anyway. No components, no variables, no design system. And then this guy, it's Locane 42412, as a senior designer product engineer with 10 years in the industry, doing 7 figures a year. I'm telling you, this is extremely useful. This is someone who's actually doing the industry, and I said thank you for this. Hate when people speak for others. That's just my pet peeve. This MCP is a godsend to that many in the actual industry doing actual work, because building a prototype is great. It is useful for people, so to be able to take that in. So someone said something somewhere, basically, and I'm seeing comments on other videos as well, so let's discuss that. Is that people are, this is an update. This is now taking the code and putting it into design. What got released, and I got a video on this, what got released about 4 or 5 months ago, Kabaza say I'm seeing this becoming more automatic and seamless. Like 4 or 5 months ago, I don't know, Figma released this MCP. This wasn't a new tool that they released. It's just the word tool is difficult when you're talking about AI. This isn't a new MCP that they released. It's actually a new tool, a tool call in the MCP. The original one was taking a design and putting it into dev. And I just don't think people knew that. So the primary focus actually was, I think someone actually, was it on our video? Something like, maybe it was our first one actually. Something like Figma choosing devs over design, something like that. PM, what's the video about? What video are you talking about, buddy? Are you talking about this one that we're talking about? I don't know when you joined, because I said at the beginning. So Figma released an update to the MCP for taking code and putting it into into Figma. But someone was like, oh, Figma choosing devs over design. It's like, no, actually, the first implementation of this MCP was taking a design and putting it into dev. Now they've just added that extra tool call to say take from code and put it into design. So, again, I just don't think they knew that was a thing that it was already doing. So I think there's a huge misunderstanding here, and it's landed badly on people. I mean, 9 times out of 10, especially when it comes to design, I think designers are quite fearful of AI. They're quick to reject it. Not all, of course. Plenty of us. Kabaza's here. He loves AI and stuff like that. So there's always going to be this knee-jerk reaction of just like, this is rubbish. This won't work. This is crap. So there is that. But actually, there's a lot that's going on here. The other one is this new putting down your preconceptions. I'm looking for it here. Someone saying that well, I guess it's this one. Maybe you have to rebuild everything anyway. No, and again, I say this in my video on my channel. You have to pick your battles. So if you need to see the working prototype, you're not reinventing the wheel, because let's be honest, guys, when you're doing UX, you're doing UI, you're reusing established patterns anyway. You're just rehashing things that you already know work. How many times are you realistically reinventing the wheel when it comes to your design or your UX? With those types of jobs, AI is going to probably nail it 9 times out of 10 if it's not complicated. So you're probably better off vibe coding it, getting up and running in half an hour, and then using that as basically as a wireframe to your design, and then layering on top, removing the UX decisions and things like that. However, if it is unique, if it is novel, the thing that you're building is like, oh, well, there's some real challenges here, then yes, the strategic, in fact, that's the right word. Strategic is this one. You talk about good designers have always been working on strategic stuff, and that's so true. But it's just one of the workflows. We've now introduced a new workflow that we just now need to adjust to, as designers need to adjust to, and think, right, now we're not going to get the opportunity to do all that. Let's lean into what this is offering us. Don't reject it, embrace it, because you're gonna see this more and more. Prototypes are going to come to your lap, and you're going to be like, it's already done. They're already using it. How am I going to work on this piece of shit? Figma MCP. That's how you're going to work on this piece of shit. So anyway, let us know your thoughts about that. But that was just some of the stuff I've seen on our video and some other people's videos. Just a lot of brain farts on not understanding that they think they're just going to have to rebuild it. It's like, no, you've got to adapt to this new workflow. And actually, one of the points I made was that you work more modular, right? You bring things into your design on a modular by modular level, rather than just the whole page. So as you would with any wireframe, you have, let's say, a project section. These are your projects, right? That section needs to exist no matter what the design is, because the wireframe / working prototype / real working websites dictated that this needs a project section. Take just that section, design just that section, or work on that section. Obviously, you've established a new sort of aesthetic and things like that. Then bring it in. You might move it up or down, or you might reconfigure it. But again, it's just that it's working on it in a more modular way. We need to adapt. We're all doing it. Devs are doing it more than anyone, right? And we're embracing it. It's just the way of the world. So anyway, yeah, let us know what you think about that. Some interesting, love all the comments. They always spark. No one's, well, there's a couple of hateable ones there, but it's always really cool to listen to people, what they have to say and what they have to think. So yeah, let us know what you think down in the comments. Figma again. Speaking of Figma, let's get us back in. Figma is to introduce an AI credit subscription system with monthly usage starting next month. Not quite sure. I think it's early in the month, so not long at all. So we've got this article here on Simply Wall Street. Figma is introducing AI credit subscriptions with monthly usage limits for its AI tools starting in March. How many AI tools are you guys using in Figma right now that are free? The company announced a new partnership with Service. Figma launched a new code to Canvas. We all know all that kind of stuff. Because here's the thing, management has said that 75% of large customers already use AI credits weekly. So moving to an explicit AI subscription and usage limits gives the company a clearer way to tie that usage to revenue. I wonder, like, how much are you guys, I'm not a Figma user, right? So how much are you guys already using AI stuff in Figma? Is it a lot? Is it little? I want to find Figma actually announcing this, because I think they're going to piss a lot of people off with this, because but it is a frigging good tool, let's be honest. Just looking for a link. I don't know. Yeah, that's all I have to say about it. I don't know what the prices are. I would like to know. Let's go Figma pricing. Let's see if they've got anything on their website. And pricing plan. I'm looking on this page here, but it's just talking about their seats. Let's do AI. Well, actually, looking at what is their AI thing? Well, I know we use the AI thing because I think we use the background remover. I think that's AI driven. Figma Make, I think that's free at the moment, so that could again be a credit system in Figma Make. Interactions looks like it's an AI thing. MCP, I wonder if they're going to... The limits on the MCP are preposterous, by the way. Like 6 calls a month if you're not paying for for Figma, which is crazy. Oh yeah, is this automatic naming? Yep, rename automatic layers, refine images, add relevant content. Are you using any of this? Instant background removals. I said we use that. Rewrite, translate, generate, sort, summarize. All of this, I reckon, will be paid for. So, yeah, better get your wallets out, boys. Wow, we're chewing through these. Let us know where you're at in the world. And give us a like on YouTube, because we love it. This is an interesting one. So Anthropic launched Claude Code Security, Claude Code Security on February 20th, which was 1 week ago, scanning code bases for vulnerabilities using Opus 4.6 and identifying 500 previously undetected bugs. Now, this is cool, but it sent stocks crashing, right? In security. Claude Code Security. Let's go here. So interestingly, CrowdStrike, if you don't know CrowdStrike, they are a security-focused startup. They're actually responsible for the blue screen of death of last year, if anyone remembers that, on Microsoft. And the owner asked if Claude Code could replace CrowdStrike. And it said no. I have to be straightforward. Building a replacement for CrowdStrike isn't something we can do here, because basically this owner shared his exchange. Of course, Claude said no. I bet this is his third try saying, and it was like, right, it said no. I'm going to share this conversation now. Anyway, a massive platform built by thousands of engineers over a decade plus. So ultimately it said no. But Claude Code Security tool triggered a sharp sell-off across cybersecurity sector. The CEO's response comes after Anthropic's announcement of Claude Code Security on February 20th sent cybersecurity stocks tumbling. CrowdStrike shares dropped roughly 8% on Friday and fell another 10% on Monday across the sector. Okta lost over 9%. Sale 0.9%. Cloudflare 8%. Jesus Christ! Just from a cloud security feature. But they said it doesn't. It's people have been like, nah, it's not so bad. Sorry, I should be making this bigger for you. Isn't so bad because Claude doesn't handle live intrusion detection, active threat response, or runtime security. So I have a few thoughts on this. So this is the announcement, and you can take a look at it here. It's basically I think it's in preview or something like this. I don't think everyone has it, but I can't show you on my terminal right now. But if you type /security review, you do get a security review out of Claude. Everyone had that. This has been something that's been around for ages, a security review. I think this is a new and updated version, obviously. And this idea that it can't do real-time, tracking, to me, just seems like someone could just build that, right? You can just build a polling system that detects for, vulnerabilities or finds vulnerabilities. And then that triggers, if it finds something, then it triggers Claude Code, says, hey, does this vulnerability affect us? Look at the code and fix it. So although because obviously you're working on historic training data when it comes to LLMs, you can build some harnesses, some ecosystems around it to do that. And we'll get into this sort of thing when we get into background agents. I think this is going to be a really interesting conversation with myself about background agents, because once again, you can set something up to poll a feed or whatever. And then the other thing is, I would be interested do you remember React to Shell, which was a vulnerability that got found that's been in existence the entire time? Here we go. I'll just Google with you. React to Shell is a critical unauthenticated remote code execution vulnerability and React server components. So basically, ever since server components have been around, I don't know how long that's been, this has been a vulnerability. It would be really interesting to download that version of React, set Opus 4.6 on it, and say, is there anything wrong here? Or test out that system that I just spoke about, which informs informs Claude about the vulnerability and sends it off, maybe giving it some brief. There's been a vulnerability about this. Is this apparent? Like, what am I trying to say here? Make it vague enough that it's like you're saying to Claude, we don't know if this is gonna. Sorry, I'm not sharing my screen again. I'm so bad at this. This is what we said here. Does this affect this piece of code? Obviously, this code being React, right? It will be really interesting if this code, either Opus on its own or the security slash command, or this new, this new whatever it is. I've just closed it by accident. This one can pick it up. So let's have a little quick watch of this. Yeah, research preview. There you go. So yeah, interesting the fact that it made stocks fall. That's kind of wild, to be honest. I'm looking forward to this one. Let's get on to remote agents. So Cursor just rolled out a major update to its AI coding agents this week, enabling to run in parallel on a dedicated cloud virtual machine for higher throughput. But this isn't a story about Cursor. It's a saga on autonomous background agents and the future of software delivery. How intense is that, huh? So let's just go through what's been going on. Not this one. It's this. If we skip through, it's nothing crazy, but it is a way that through Cursor, we've had background tasks and things like that. You can set off a background agent in Cursor. That's been a thing for a little while. But I think this is more of an automatic way of doing things, right? Let's actually let's watch this. Let's chill out for a bit.
Gave Cursor agents their own computers, and now they can test their changes and come back with a video recording of what they worked on.
Let's take a look at what that actually looks like. So here's an agent that we kicked off. This was sometime a couple weeks ago when we were launching our long-running agents. So we needed to make sure that users could configure how long.
So it's the long-running agent.
So we needed a picker, and we
that has
later it came back with a video.
Playwright.
And so here it's using mouse and keyboard like a human. And after it implemented the code, front and back end, strung it through, whatever, it is testing to make sure that it works and also recording it so that you can see that it works.
I can just watch this video in a few seconds. I've evaluated the work product. I've not looked at any code, and I know that it has a working feature.
One of the other things that is...
So nothing crazy, but we are still starting to see more and more of this. And apparently it can run for like 10, 20 tasks. And you know, I'm not a massive fan of Cursor anymore, to be honest. I don't use it too much. But what I gave you a sneak peek of is that Claude Code has this new remote control feature as well, which again, in a similar sort of way, you're sending your task off to the cloud. Now you could already do this in Claude Code, if you type and then that will send it to the background as a background task, which inevitably just sends it up to the cloud. But it's a way that you can then interact with it on your phone. So remote control here, you can actually interact with it on your phone. Now, I actually thought this was already possible, to be honest. I'm yet to see like what difference this is. Again, I'll release a video on this on my channel, actually doing the difference between background and remote control. But it's good to see. Let's see if there are any comments, because I actually haven't had a look. For always Claude Code, try Claude Code on the web. For always on. So there's something. Yeah, so some people are a little bit confused. Anyway, background agents coming in clutch there. The other thing I wanted to share was this beautiful website, by the way. I just really like this website. It's so smooth. And this website is talking about, and we spoke earlier about new paradigms, new ways of working with the Figma MCP and embracing it. I read through this, and it's essentially talking about the same sort of thing, where the bottlenecks are. And this is why you've got this graphic here. There's bottlenecks everywhere. And how can we alleviate these bottlenecks? It's cool, man. And it talks about basically having agents that run in the background, where you aren't necessarily coding. You aren't necessarily writing. I mean, we're not coding anyway, right? Because of AI. But the point is, it's like they talk about testing and going back up to here, actually, planning, code review, testing, deployment, probably, deployments and things like that. And where can we stick agents here in this pipeline to enable some of this stuff? I set up a background agent using Oz, which is Warp, which is the terminal that I use. A background agent that every week just looks to improve the website, right? It's just kind of doing its thing. I also set one off with our video when I first spoke about Oz on the Command AI channel. I set up I scheduled an agent to do accessibility reviews and things like this. Like, is it a case that, you know, as developers, we are just implementing the basic thing and then it runs through all of these to do it? Or are we doing any of this sort of stuff? And our websites are living organisms. We spoke about this on the Webflow MCP, in that comments come in, data comes in, maybe it's analytics, maybe it's feedback on a forum or something like that. And our AI is constantly analyzing all of this data, because that's what's amazing at. And actually we didn't we were going to get on with it in a second, don't worry. Ignore everything I just said just then. Maybe we've got an organic website that's always taking on improvements, and really you're there to verify hey, we had 300 new users on this page and they dropped off at this point. Do you want to move this section? Whatever the comment is, whatever the analysis is from the agent, it sends its request to you, and all you're doing is saying, yes, you're the kind of final brain in all of this. And this is what I'm really, really excited about. So this whole, I love this website. It's so cool. This is a really, really nice read. Establish background agent primitives. There we go. So it's really got some practical advice here. Sandbox as a tool, agent as a dev environment, enforce the runtime, not prompts. So that's quite cool. Give this a read and really embrace what it's talking about, because I think we're really going to be entering a new age of background agents just running around doing their thing. The final thing I wanted to share with you, which, to be honest, has kind of been solved, but Coord, coordinating a trees of AI agents. So this guy, I don't know, JK, June Kim, speaks about a bunch of little orchestration tools out there. All right, OpenAI Swarm. This is one that got released. Claude is just updated this week with their agent teams, or last week maybe. He talks about this tool that he's created that sends in, basically, he really goes into it here. He basically sends an agent in to understand a task and understands what sub-agents, what agents need to orchestrate or to fulfill this challenge, and where do the dependencies lie. Something that we used to use Taskmaster for, but now as I said, I literally played around with Claude agent teams today. It's really great. It then sets up those agents and figures them out. So under the hood, where is it? There was something I was looking at here. Migrate API from REST to GraphQL, active spawn, audit, a research. How many concurrent agents do you serve? Oh, this is kind of it going on, but you can see that it's using different agents to do different things. And you can, again, this is his tool. So, you know, if you want to look into it, definitely go and do it. But I used Claude Code, and you can actually specify what agents you want. And maybe there's a slash command or a skill for, I don't know, you know, building a front end feature, that you have a research agent, then you have a front end architect agent, and all this and that and the other. And for me, it's a lot more deterministic than thinking that Claude Code is just going to pick up on a sub agent to do these things. I'd rather it happen, you know, I actually tell it to go build an agent team. It was really cool to watch them work. But again, chewed through my tokens, and I'm not even on the max plan at the moment just because I'm trialing Codex. But yeah, really interesting. Was there anything about agent orchestration? No. that's agent orchestration, multiple teams. Obviously, lots of people are talking about this right now, and I cannot stress how much I think that we need to look into agents and agent orchestration and things like that. I've heard rumors that there's going to be some $500 a month plans on things like Claude Code and ChatGPT and things like that, where, you know, I'm even considering the $100 a month plan. $200 a month plan on Claude Code. Just because I'm using AI so much more now. I'm using AI for absolutely everything. I do the animations on this channel, which we've only released one video on, but there's a few animations. I release animations on I use the remotion skill for all that. I use it to update, obviously, my OpenClaw, things like this. I'm just using AI for everything right now. I have another example of how I'm using OpenClaw. I still want to know what you guys are using OpenClaw for. I don't insert, if I have a video idea and I have a Notion database full of those video ideas, I don't open up Notion to insert that video idea anymore. I have a skill set off on OpenClaw. I text OpenClaw the article or the idea that inspired it, and I trigger that skill. And then what it does is do research, give me talking points, give me a description that I need to copy and paste into the YouTube video. All of this stuff is just and gives me an outline in a way there to lift the fourth wall for a second. I want my videos on my channel to be more results focused. I'm really into foundational stuff, like learning the basics. I love all that. But I need to break out of that and start telling you guys, okay, here's the result. Here's some clever thing you can do with it. Here's what does this enable you to actually do? And then break down the nuts and the bolts of it. This is what's going on under the hood. I love all that stuff. I'll always love all that stuff. But I need to be more results focused. I've baked this into my skill. So it always tries to take my idea and turn it into a results-driven video. All that to be said, I don't touch Notion. I let AI agents do all of the work for me, you know, to do all that basic stuff. So it is what it is. We are on the last article here. I knew we'd steam through this just because I'm on my own. And this is actually, let me just double check. Yeah, this is Claude Code getting hacked, which I didn't actually realize was a thing. Oh, actually, no, let's go through this one real quick. So there's been beef with Anthropic and the Department of War. Now, I've been following this like a hound. But basically, the Department of War for the US wants unrestricted access. So I'm not going to say unrestricted access, but, you know, a more unrestricted version of Claude. Now, Claude have baked into their model a few ground rules, really, and two of those that are under question right now is AI like automatic weapons, like, you know, an AI making a decision where it should or shouldn't kill people. In fact, I've already forgotten the second one. Mass surveillance. This idea, and I mentioned it earlier, about this churning through data, churning through massive amounts of data to actually sort of consolidate and understand them. This is what AI is really frigging good at. And it seems like these are some things that the Department of War want lifted. And Dario or Anthropic said, no, we're not going to do that. And they are mass domestic surveillance, here we go, and fully autonomous weapons. And I've ruined the surprise there, but they were given until Friday to well, today, I guess. I don't know why I thought Friday. They released it early potentially. So like give them an answer. And they are standing firm. And this is Dario's announcement on why they're not doing it. And again, it just comes down to them being against this sort of stuff, which, we spoke earlier about Anthropic pissing people off because they're not open sourcing their software. Like, this is stuff that really friggin' matters, right? This is stuff that we really should be talking about and acknowledging that they're refusing to allow the government to do mass domestic surveillance. Now, we do need to look at the other side, because I do know there's some responses from people as well. And I will find it first before. I mean, Anthropic have told them to find another vendor, which is kind of oh no, I'm sharing my screen. Sorry, I didn't realize. There is someone who chimed in from the other side, and I want to. When a government rebrands itself from Department of Defense to Department of War, that was what confused me reading up about this. I was like, I'm sure it was Department of Defense, but yeah, Department of War. A lot of people saying yes, but I don't know. I have seen some backlash. I'm open to the fact that there's backlash. This is not my territory to understand, like all of this sort of stuff and why there might be counters. Obviously, as a citizen, not as a US citizen, obviously, but like as someone who can imagine a world where there's mass surveillance and all the rest of it, then I can obviously side with Claude's position here. However, I bet there's some real fully valid criticisms over the other side. And what I was thinking as well is that I think Claude could potentially turn a new leaf on all of this if war starts to take place, because Ukraine are apparently using autonomous drones with AI and stuff. In fact, just a point there, Dario even said himself, like, this stuff isn't reliable enough. Like, they don't want to give them something that just is not, like, not that they would if it was reliable, but it is just another stance to say, look, this stuff isn't there yet. And we all know this. Like, heck, it still hallucinates and this and that and the other, sorry. But Ukraine are using these automatic drones and things like this, and I've forgotten where I was going with that because I got confused with the AI not being ready. But I don't know. Oh yes, that's where I was going with it. If war starts to happen, if the Department of War suddenly becomes the Department of Defense, let's say, then I think potentially Claude or Anthropic could step forward and do this and comply and all the rest of it. But right now it's just it's just gonna it's very an American mindset, isn't it? And I don't want to get too much into guns and all that sort of lot. I know a lot of our audience are from the US, but there's something to be said where where guns aren't allowed, that there's no gun crime. It's fighting fire with fire, I think is the mentality that certainly the Department of War might think. But I don't know. I don't know enough about it. And I think that on the offset, I'm proud of Anthropic for standing firm. This is bound to be millions and potentially even billions of dollars that they're throwing away, because then they'll lose their current contracts with the Department of Defense or Department of War, whatever the hell they are. So it's not only going to lose them a contract, it's going to lose them existing contracts. So yeah, pretty hairy stuff. It'll be interesting to see how this develops. Maybe there's going to be a response from the Department of War. but Anthropic has stayed firm, and more power to them. That'll be it. I think we'll wrap up there. I've just gone on Twitter, and we have basically a week of Apple announcements next week, which I'm really looking forward to. Though they say don't buy the M5 Pro or Max, which is really annoying because I currently have two. I have a 16-inch and I have a 14-inch, and I want to get rid of them both and downgrade. I say downgrade, not downgrading at all, but like consolidate to a 14-inch, probably M5 Max. Like I'm curious about completely. I don't know, because dev work and editing work. Editing does probably need graphics, to be fair, but I don't think I need max graphics. I get on pretty well with my M1 Max, and the update to Final Cut has made things a little bit smoother as well. So I'm pretty good with an M1 Max, which is something to be said. But are we going to enter a world with where people are going to be using local models? I don't know. I don't think local models will ever beat these AI labs who have 20,000, like millions of GPUs at their disposal. Who knows? But anyway, that's all we have time for. So make sure to follow us at Cmd AI Show. We've got the website now, cmdaishow.com, which just takes you through to the YouTube, but maybe one day it will be a website. Like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Say happy birthday to Kabaza. He wasn't here today just because it's his birthday. And I think that'll do it. Nothing else going on before I wrap up now. I feel like there's been more announced, but yeah. Anyway, like, subscribe, and all the rest of it. Keep on vibing.